Hello guys, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and in this video I want to do something a little bit different. I want to take you guys on a bit of a creative journey on how I typically make one of my YouTube videos. I just thought I'd take you on this creative journey of creatism, if that's even a word, and just show you typically how I make one of my videos, and perhaps you can learn from it. And please feel free to comment in the comments below how you make your videos, as undoubtedly I could learn from you. So let's start this journey of adventure and let's see where it takes us. Now, all my videos, or most of them anyway, tend to start with some sort of idea. If I'm with my pad, as you'll see in a moment, or sometimes in the middle of the night when I'm in bed, I'll just go bing, and there comes the idea. And that's when it starts the creative process. I'll start clicking on my phone, I'll start typing in ideas for titles. Once I've got the idea sorted, or it's came to me in my bed, or whatever it's came from, I sit here with my notes and my pen, and basically, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, I just start writing down the bullet points of the video, how I want to produce the video, that sort of thing. I start to think of how I can do it. I'll move stuff around, I'll turn it over, and once I've got the bullet points sorted, I start thinking in my head, that's how I can film the video, so I can do it in bullet points. Again, it makes it easier to edit, and then I'll just go on. I haven't got my phone on me, which is annoying, but I'll get my phone, if you can imagine that, and I'll just type in what I want to make the video about, and I'll just see what power phrases that YouTube gives me, and then from there I could then decide, you know, what the video can be about, perhaps go into a bit more detail in my head, or how I can title the video. And that's just really important, because once I've got the title of the video and I've got the thumbnails, then the video really then starts to take shape in my head. So when I come to filming, it's no bother whatsoever to start filming, because I know exactly how it's going to look. Now, the part of the video journey that really starts to get me a little bit excited, gives you that bit inside, is when I go, right, I'm going to set up the studio, I'm going to turn on the lights. So this is where the magic happens, when I think, right, now it's time to make the video. So look, I come into the studio and I start turning on the lights. As you can see, I've got the awesome red and blue lights in the background. It looks really cool. And then I'll turn on the floodlight, and that'll probably know, there you go, you can see me really well. And basically I just turn on the light. You can see I've got my awesome floodlight here. I just turn that on. I make sure I've got the backing lights turned on. Now these are basically just, if you can see these are basically just like little power lights. They were going to be used as floodlights, but they're more like stage lights really, and I'll just use them to make the backdrop look a bit more interesting for you guys when you're watching my videos and that sort of thing. And then down here you can see I've got my computer where I do the editing, I do all the streaming and all that sort of jazz. So that's where, you know, the real magic happens. But you can see the studio is pretty much set up really, but if you haven't got that sort of space, you know, that's a time where you'll be setting up your lighting, your microphone, your camera, your phone, if that's your camera, your tripod. You can see I've got a few tripods here. My main tripod is sort of there, and I'm using a part of it now to hold my camera, and that's just something that I love about this, because it pops out into like a selfie stick and I can walk around as I'm doing now. So you can see my studio is pretty much set up, but you know, bear in mind, some of you may have bigger space than me, some of you may not have smaller space, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever space you're using, if you're filming outdoors or indoors, you're setting up the space and you're ready to go to make that value. Now this part of the journey is when it really starts to come into place. I've set up the studio, which basically nowadays usually means turn on a few lights. I've got the camera ready, you know, the tripod's all set up, the microphone's all set up, and I'm ready to go, and I start filming. Now usually what I do, I've written down in my notebook some bullet points, which I personally find helpful. Tell us in the comments below if you prefer bullet points or scripts. I tried that, but it just comes across a bit robotic for me, and it just takes too long to remember them. And I find if I just have bullet points, I can just record a bit at a time, and that makes editing later far easier. So then basically off I go. What I'm doing now, I just press record and off I go. Just matter what camera or phone you're using, as long as it's set up on a tripod, have some interesting backdrop, and depending on what the video is about, I just go for it. And sometimes it takes me multiple attempts, sometimes I just wing it, and I go, actually I really like that, and when I come to edit it, it just makes it easier to edit. And I'm all about making things as productive and as easy for myself as possible, especially when I'm everything. I'm the director, the cameraman, the editor, the presenter. So sometimes if I can make parts of it a bit easier, it just makes the whole process much more enjoyable. So if you're getting value so far from this video, why not check out our Tuesdays playlist, where I'll go into more detail on video and edit and thumbnail design and just some great content. So after this video, go and check out that playlist, because you guys rock. And if you're getting value so far from this video, smash the like button. Let's continue. Now for me, this is when the creativity really kicks in and the video stroke content really starts to mold into place, and that is the editing. Now I use Magic, which I love purely because it's just simple and it doesn't crash very often, touch wood. And that's what I love about it, and it's just really easy to use, and I can just put in my clips on the timeline, edit them around, and quite often what my initial thought for the content will be will quite often change and evolve as I edit the video. And as I watch through the content, I will quite often find myself going, oh, I don't like that bit, don't like that bit, and I'll knock in some B-roll, which basically just means of overlapping video, just to make it more visually interesting for you guys, so it's not just me talking at the camera all the time. And sometimes if I'm watching I think, right, I've seen enough of my face for 30 seconds, I'll knock in some B-roll, and I do find in the watch time that does help improve that. I find my videos where I've used more B-roll or clips or screenshots or whatever, it just makes it more visually interesting, and it just helps with your watch time. So that's a little power tip I'd throw in there. But this is really where I start to mold the video, and that's what I really love about this part. And one little tip I wanted to say is just take your time. And for those of you that might find editing scary, just bear in mind that I've been doing editing for 15 plus years, if not longer than that now, and I do find with even now, since I've been doing like weekly videos since May 2020, I have found that by doing it every week and with each video, I just get a little bit better. So if you watch videos I made a year ago, you'll go, yeah, you've improved. And you can find that on your own channel, and every video you do, just work on a little bit to make it better, and it will happen, and your video will just, your content will just get better and better and better. Now the thumbnails are quite fun. What I tend to do is I'm holding an object or something. I'll sort of show you now. I'll get a camera, say if I'm talking about a camera, I'll hold that, or I'll hold whatever I'm holding, and I'll sort of go, that sort of thing, and I'll take about 10 pictures, something like that, and I'll be like, oh, look at this, awesome stuff, look at this, all that sort of jazz. And then I'll upload them onto my awesome computer down there. I'll load up Photoshop, and I will just edit a really thumbnail, try and make them as simple as possible, with just like me, maybe no more than 3 words, trying to keep them simple. Sometimes I'll test and I'll just have the object or what I'm talking about and play with what works. I'm still testing and playing around, if I'm brutally honest, but that's basically how I do my thumbnails. I don't overthink it, or I try to think of why I want people to click on it. It's quite important to the visual, because you've got to think the thumbnail is massively important. So I do tend to think will somebody click on that, does it grab the eye, that sort of thing. But mainly it's advertising very briefly in a microsecond what the video is about, and hopefully people will click on it. So that's something to bear in mind. Now for those of you that do know, you'll know this next part, but those of you that don't, or perhaps new to YouTube or still learning the curve, the next part, once you've edited the video, you've rendered it, and then you do the exciting bit where you watch it, perhaps you think, you know what, I'm happy with that, by all means edit and re-edit again, and then when you post it, it then becomes to the YouTube settings, ensuring the right title. Sometimes you might tweak it to make it a bit better, put in a really good description. In your description, I would highly recommend put links to other videos that people might find interesting, that's similar to types of videos that you've just posted within your channel, to keep people there. Perhaps do links to merch if you have any, websites if you've got any, where other people can connect with you on other social media sites, stuff like that. You can put free links, sort of tags at the bottom of the description, but don't do any more than 3, because YouTube won't show them, and any more than 15 actually technically breaks the rules, because it's seen as just sort of spamming. So don't do that. But then you go through the settings, make sure it's not for kids, so you don't get penalised there. Any little settings you want to put in, if you want to put in subtitles, and in the tag section, still use that. Don't get mad on it. It doesn't really break the curve really, but what I tend to do is I'll search in the topics that the video is about and see what YouTube comes up with the idea pop-up. You know, it'll give you little power phrases, and then copy and paste a few of them into the tags, maybe a few keywords you can think of depending on what the video is about, and just go through the settings. And then when you're happy with that, it will do the copyright check to make sure you haven't used any copyright music and all that jazz. If you want to use music like I have in this video, I highly recommend the YouTube audio library. There's loads of fantastic free music, go and check it out. And you know, and I just put a link to that in the description so people know what I've used. Just sort of covers yourself, that sort of jazz, and just go for the settings. Obviously, you post that in, and you can always change that later if you're not happy with it. And then once you're really happy with all this, then you can post it, and then off it goes to the world. And a little power tip I'd recommend actually is schedule the video, so make sure you're being consistent, doing the same time every week. And then I premiere the video so people are sort of not flagged, that's the wrong word, they're sort of like, you know, they're sort of told in a nice way, you know, your video is, you know, it's been advertised, it's going to start in, you know, tomorrow or in 30 minutes, and then just before it premieres, so it doesn't do that annoying count. Because you can do that for big videos, but most people don't want to sit there for 1.5 minutes waiting for a video to premiere. So what I do is just before it happens, I smash it into public so people can watch it straight away, and whenever they came onto that video or your channel, they can watch your content and enjoy your work. Now, I hope this window into how I create a lot of my videos has been helpful to you guys. Please write any questions you have in the comments below. Please check out the description for links to other videos I've made and all that jazz. And if you want to connect with us, I'm on Twitter and Instagram and all the other places. But more importantly, I really hope you got value from today's video. I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube tips to help you build your brand and to help you prove both your skills on YouTube and within video. So subscribe, hit the like button, have a fantastic day, and as always guys, you probably noticed I've got a sore throat this week, so round of applause for me for doing this video when I can barely talk. So you know what, to me, to you, and to the whole world, you guys rock!